Hi, I'm Jeff Marshall. This is Geiger. We've been in the rock and fossil business, and it's been my hobby since I was just a tyke. Um, we recently, well, a couple years back now, but we went to the Carolinas and took a boat up a river, and at a certain depth, a sediment containing prehistoric shark teeth we came upon, and it's a black water dive, so it's very unnerving to get in the water. You can't see your hand in front of your face, but we know there's these buried treasures in the sediments below, and so I guess you just take a chance, right? Well, we were pretty lucky that year, and we came up with some fairly decent teeth. Here's a megalodon. Some people think this is the front of the tooth with a curved surface, but actually the animal wore it like this. This was the front of the tooth here, the flat section, so you could actually, it stuck out a little bit, so when you impacted the animal, you would actually tear more flesh off than if it were the opposite direction, cutting short. This is a pretty good sized tooth. It measures about 5 inches in length, but when you stop and think what an additional half inch would bring is this. So what you're seeing is, in comparison, a much larger tooth, and I can almost have to hold it with 2 hands to show it off. So this is a 5.5 inch tooth, and again, there's the back of the tooth there. You see that slight front, that the eddies that occur as the animal dives to deeper depths would cause the fracturing because of the change of temperature on the chitin. It's not phosphate and enamel like our teeth are. It's actually an exoskeleton like a horseshoe crab would be, or something like that. If you look real closely, you'll see a serrated edge. In the early forms of megalodon, they had a little denticle or a cusp that was attached here, and then evolved without it. And this would be a later model, if you want to put it that way. They still have fossil evidence of them occurring up to about 8 million years ago. When you say 8 million, that seems like a lot, but in geologic time, that's fairly recent. Some little barnacles and bryozoa coral that attached themselves to it when it lay on the ocean floor from the Miocene. That's a beauty tooth. You probably lost it feeding. They lose 8 to 10 teeth every time they feed, and here's one of them. Now, the luck of finding a complete one like this that hasn't broken off or been weathered in the shifting sand and dulled down into a kind of a unrecognizable blob. Let's say if you were to find 1,000 teeth, you may find one this good. Okay, so you could find several thousand teeth and not even find this one. You could work a whole summer and not find a quality tooth like this. That's how rare it is. What we're talking about today is a fossil tooth that's over 7 inches. Now that is a massive tooth. If you consider the change from this guy to the size, and just a ½ inch change to this size, I don't know if you can get that proportion, but it's a much bigger tooth for a ½ inch. So add another 1.5 inches to the overall size, and these teeth are just huge. There was one diver that was lucky enough to spend his whole life in the Carolinas and Florida, and collected over 184 teeth that he assembled into a jaw much like the one we're assembling here from California teeth. The only difference is these were cast from original teeth that we found, and we made a casting of them. This jaw that you'll see in a picture is from actual real teeth. The jaw has to be made up, that doesn't preserve in the fossil record. So we extrapolate from a modern day megalodon or a modern day Carcharodon carcharias, or great white, and expand it to compensate for this size of a tooth. So that's what you're seeing as the jaw and the 184 teeth in rows, following from the front to the back, would be what would make up this amazing jaw. And the rarity of that many teeth, of that quality being assembled, I don't think it'll ever happen. Well, I mean, somebody'd have to spend, again, another lifetime to do it. And I don't know if we can wait that long, but here's one that's available. This gentleman lost his life diving, so this is in a family trust now, and the price was well over $1 million, $1.2 million. They're more considerate of it and have given us a very fair price based on the value mostly of the teeth itself if you were to sell it individually. And so that's your presentation on these fossils and how amazing they are and how rare you have to, how lucky you have to be to get one this big, and then it's logarithmically rare to get the huge one, the 7-inch tooth. Thank you very much for your time, and happy hunting. See ya. That Santa Barbara at the same time, 18 million years ago, was a shallow sea. That sea actually was as wide, the inlet was as wide as Santa Maria to the north and Camarillo to the south. And of course, Camarillo at the time hosted a volcano on top of it. You can still see the feeder dikes and veins that fed the volcanics there. Santa Barbara in the center of it, with the mountain range that we have behind us now flat lying. They've only been uplifted in the last 8 million years. I've recreated a shark jaw here using fossil teeth that we collected out in the Bakersfield area. That shallow sea that covered Santa Barbara, moved into the San Joaquin Valley, the Sacramento, and then all the way up into the San Francisco Bay. This was the remnants of that shallow sea. It seemed that there was a seal rookery that existed during this time, and of course seals are the favorite food of these bad boys, and they were out there having lunch